We'll begin our day. Not sure if you've heard yet, but Aggie baseball canceled against UTSA tonight. Not rescheduled. Aggie baseball canceled against UTSA tonight. Why? The weather. If you purchased a single game ticket from the 12th Man Foundation for the game tonight, you can exchange for a ticket to a future regular season baseball home game subject to availability. I will repeat again. What are your options if you had a ticket to the UTSA game tonight? It is canceled. The game is canceled tonight due to weather. If you purchased a single game ticket from the 12th Man Foundation, and this is their rainout policy, and the game is canceled and not rescheduled. The game tonight is canceled, not rescheduled. Your original ticket may be exchanged for a ticket to a future regular season baseball home game subject to availability. So you do not get a refund, but you can, get an exchange for another ticket. Now, if there were no more home games left, that is the only way that you may get a refund. So those are your options. Now, what's next for Aggie baseball? Gainesville to take on number 21 Florida. Friday night, 5:30 first pitch. You will hear that game right here on the Zone, 11:50 a.m. and 93.7 FM. I do have a programming service announcement. With no Aggie baseball tonight, what we will have tonight, 5:10 p.m. first pitch, Game 2 of the Astros and the Guardians from Cleveland. See, tonight over on Willie 1550 AM, we have Navasota High baseball. So we were not going to be able to air the Astros tonight. And that made me very sad. So you listen to Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Willie 1550 AM. Well, Tuesday nights over on Willie 1550 AM, they have Navasota baseball or Navasota softball. Kind of like a game of the week kind of thing. So we could not air the Astros on Willie 1550. Originally, we had Aggie baseball tonight here on the Zone. So we did not have an option for the Astros. Well, Aggie baseball canceled due to weather. 5:10, first pitch, Astros Guardians, Game 2. You can hear it here on the Zone thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. So there is a silver lining in that cloud of Aggie baseball being canceled. You know what this real, the word tragedy is a bit strong, don't get me wrong, but the loser in the game being canceled tonight was buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. So one of the great promotions of our time. Anytime you pull me a BOGO, that's a true deal. It's not a baseball thing, but any business that, buy $100 worth of merchandise and get a free straw. Buy $50 and get a free Coke. Just, there's so many bad deals, and I hear them. And I'm sitting there going like, and that's supposed to make me want to, you're supposed to stand out with that. Get 10% off a $1,000 purchase. It's like, man. But I hear BOGO. You want me to try your business for the first time? BOGO, BOGO, BOGO. And that was Aggie baseball tonight. And it's gone. It's gone. So anyway, that's the true loss in this story. We gained Astros baseball at 5:10 tonight, thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer, and we lost the BOGO special. Remember, Aggie baseball back in action Friday, 5:30 first pitch versus Florida. We continue, maroon and white, opening our day together. I found an infographic, even though it's information and a graphic, I don't know if it's a true infographic. But Aggie baseball in the polls, D1 has them at 7, Baseball America has them at 8, USA Today has them at 7, the NCW, there's so many letters, NCBWA has them at 8. Perfect Game has them at 9. Aggie baseball does not use the Athletic top 25 in their infographic tragedy because the Athletic has them at 6. Yeah. And Mitch Light, dear friend, good friend of mine, great friend of the Louie Bellina show, has them at 6, the Athletic poll. So that's Aggie baseball 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. We get the point. And the RPI, I didn't look this morning. So I'm going to say 8, and they might be 9, or they might be 7, and people are going to be like, you're an idiot. You don't need that. There's other proof I'm an idiot other than me having the wrong RPI because I didn't check this morning, okay? There's many, 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 many other areas to prove that. Continuing along, you know, or you don't, but this is draft week. It's from Pittsburgh, one of the most glorious cities on the face of the earth. I didn't say it was necessarily a vacation destination. Don't get me wrong. How many people went to the A&M Pitt game many, many years ago? That's one of my favorite trips I took. Now, me being a Steelers fan, you kind of understand there's a little something extra special to go see Aggie football play at Heinz Field. And I went to the Pirates game that night at Heinz Field. Me, Chase, Glengarry, Glenn Ross, and I know I'm forgetting someone, so they're going to be pissed at me. There was 4 of us, and we had the ultimate time in the world. Ate at one of the greatest Italian restaurants in the world. Mike Caruso, I was always told, you need a food Alex's dad. I was always told if you ever need a food recommendation, somehow Mike knows all the best food places in the world. So I finally tried it, and it was like, hey, we're going to Pittsburgh. Where to eat? And he goes, okay, there's this Italian place across the street from the Opera House, downtown Pittsburgh. Walked in and knew we were in a real restaurant. Like, only waiters, no waitresses. Everything was formal. I mean, and yet it was like, felt like you were in a dining at your home kind of thing. Oh, it was freaking amazing. One of the best meals. I think best Italian, period. Fantastico. That Pittsburgh trip was glorious. It's hard to explain. And the pierogies lived up to the hype too. And the Primonte brothers. But anyway, sorry, I digressed. But I was talking food, and that's never digressing. That's just being hungry. Pittsburgh is hosting the NFL draft. 3 Aggie first round. We're going to stick with 4 Aggies in the first and second round. I'm going to stick with that. That's my minimum prediction. I don't even think that's bold, but I'm 99.999% sure we're going to see 4 Aggies in the first 2 rounds. The question really is how many of them are in the first. I can be boring and safe and say at least 2. Could be 1, could be 3, at least 2. Wow, I stuck my neck out for that one. So 2 questions, I think, for Aggies in the NFL draft. How many go in the first round? Will 11 go and they set the all-time record? How many Aggies in the first round and will 11 go and they set the all-time record? I saw some 7-round mocks, which are kind of insane, but if you're bored, why not do a 7-round mock? If you're being paid to, why not do a 7-round mock? Will there be 11? How many in the first round? And Jordan Reed, I shared it yesterday, who ESPN, and he's one of the true draft experts. He had the Aggies with 11 and 3 in the first round, and that's the max potential there. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. I'm a draft junkie. Thursday, Friday, kind of the culmination of all of it. Speaking of A&M, football and talent, I saw Rivals 247, I don't know who they are. Yeah, Rivals did their 2027 team recruiting rankings updated. A&M 1, Texas Tech 2. And basically everything that's updated, the 2027 classes, this is high school, by the way, I feel like, and tell me if I'm off base here, I feel like I really need to clarify now, because when I first say recruiting rankings, do you think high school anymore, or do you think portal? Because in my own head, I'm thinking portal when we talk about classes now, more than I think high school. Crazy? Maybe. Insane? Maybe. But I think if you were to talk about rankings, I think portal rankings before I think high school anymore. Anyway, everything I've seen for 2027, A&M is 1 or 2. There's the ESPN one, because ESPN does one thing a little bit differently. Yeah, 5 stars have the most pull, but their ESPN 300 is the thing that counts the most. And because OU, Oklahoma, has the most ESPN 300s, they're 1 with A&M 2. And even in the Rivals one, OU is 3. So you get the point of the top. A&M's 1 if you do consensus. OU, Texas Tech are flippity-floppity between the 2 and the 3. But, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to talk to others who do the recruiting stuff, and talent acquisition is a better way to look at it than recruiting. But you can't win without the portal. You can get all the high school kids you want, but you always have holes, and the portal now is how you guarantee you don't have holes. You can fill up every weakness after you get done with the high school. You make sure you never miss, because whatever you missed on the high school class, you can hit in the portal. I'm serious. I think the portal is how you make sure you have no weaknesses. Portal is how you overcome injuries, how you overcome attrition, how you overcome your own recruiting mistakes on the kids you missed on or the kids you couldn't get high school. The portal is how you atone for all sins, things that you just could not account for. So I think the portal is the most important thing and more important than high school recruiting now. Can you win with just portal? Until we see an Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama only portal, I don't think we can answer that question, to be honest with you. We've seen programs, well, I don't know. Indiana just did it, didn't they? Indiana won with just portal. So the answer is yes, you can win with just portal. Indiana just won by being a portal school. Ole Miss tried it, and to be fair, just them making the college football playoff. They won 2 games too, to be clear. They didn't just participate. Shows you things can be achieved. The question was, can you win a championship? Answer is yes, Indiana did it. So there's multiple paths. Ohio State, I think, might be the best example of they were slow to adapt to the portal, and they now use the portal exactly how I said. They recruit high school top 3 recruiter, and they just make sure they have no weaknesses by using the portal now, where they were slow on the portal. Alabama, too slow on the portal. I still think they're not very good in the portal, and that's why they've dropped off. They still high school recruit like everybody. But the portal is the answer to everything. 979-693-1150. Before we're done, Maroon and White, wanted to share this with you. I think it's pretty awesome. And to me, my following statement has 0 to do with politics. But the A&M volleyball team, the national championship A&M volleyball team, is going to be at the White House today at 3 o'clock. And a lot of athletes and teams, and I'm thinking pro, have, turned it into politics where I'm not going because of, and it doesn't matter, whichever president's been there. To me, when a national championship go to the White House, that's a pretty cool tradition. And I guess if the politics of the person that's there at the time bothers you, you don't go, you're standing up for something. I guess that's important. It just strikes me as a cool tradition. And the A&M volleyball team, national championship A&M volleyball team, they're going to be at the White House today at 3 o'clock. And it'll be really cool to see the maroon and white all across different platforms of media throughout the day today and then into the evening and tonight. Congrats to them. I hope they have the most amazing trip possible. That's really awesome. When we return, up next on the Louie Bellina Show Monday edition, the Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric, Logan Lee, former A&M baller, coach at A&M in Kentucky, will join me inside the Charles Schwab studio Monday, Tuesday, happy days, Tuesday on The Zone.
Spend your late nights with Sports Center all night from ESPN Radio here on The Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio, the Tuesday edition. It is the Louie Bellina Show. Joined now inside the Charles Schwab studio, Logan Lee, who played basketball at A&M, coached at A&M in Kentucky, officiated the game too. What's up, brother?
Oh, nothing much, man. Just another day in Aggieland.
I would say beautiful day, but due to weather, that's all I'm saying. Not so much today.
Oh, you don't think so? I think it's green outside. Look at the grass. It's growing.
I know you're one of the happiest people I've ever met, but even for you, that's a little bit like...
Look, I came into that, for everybody that needs to understand this, I came into the studio and Lou is dark and gloomy, and so I'm trying to pick up his spirits, and I am trying to make sure that he has a positive experience for you listening and for me being here. I don't care about your well-being. I just care about everybody that is affected by your well-being.
It's great to know you care so much. Right now, my heart's so warm. Thank you so much. Hey, what is the Portsmouth Invitational thing?
It's I don't know how many games you play. You play basically...
I think it's 3 games.
3 games.
Everyone plays 3 games.
Yeah, I think it's 3 games, and you just go show your talent. And it's not a combine or anything like that, but it's like you know how the NBA has Summer League?
Yeah.
It's basically what it is for guys that are trying to make a name for themselves, that are trying to get on teams' radars. It is upperclassmen that are trying to make their way into the league.
Now, can anyone go?
No, you have to be invited. Agee was invited.
Because I was thinking about going.
I mean, you could go. They'll let you pay to watch. I'm sure they'll take your $50 for a ticket. I don't know. I don't know.
Like, wait a minute. You can watch, but it's just 3 exhibition games, $50.
I have no clue.
Price gouging.
Yeah, that's how tickets are these days, right?
Okay.
You could watch on TV for your Netflix subscription that just went up another $2, or you could go pay $175 for tickets, food, drinks, and parking per person. I don't know.
Hard pass.
Rashawn Agee was at the Portsmouth Invitational over the weekend. In his 3 games, he did what he does, double-double. He averages 15.3 and 9.7, which in the Lou world, we round up and 9.7 goes up. So he had, let's see, what was it? I hope I printed all of it out. Oh, I did. He had like 27 and 15 one game, like 12-12. I mean, he was insane. He was Rashawn Agee world. Also, his official measurements came in, and what was he, just under like 6'7", or was he barely 6'7" or something?
I mean, look, I believe they measure you with your shoes off, and it is like, hey, I'm going to put the ruler, smash it on your head, and make sure that you don't get an extra 1/8 of an inch, because they want that true rating. I mean, I think, we give Joe Jones a hard time, but I always tell Joe he measured in at like 6'5" and a quarter. At all that NBA stuff. So, they're gonna. That is a true height, but that just goes to show how good he is. If he can do a double-double against all the guys that are his age and trying to make a name to get on some type of NBA radar, not even on a team, just on the radar, and he's doing that at 6'6", and we knew he wasn't any taller than that, but that's
maybe I just hoped.
He's just his presence. He's just so physical and so aggressive and intense on every possession. That is what separates the good players from the better players. The best story about a combine and preparing for the NBA is Antoine Wright. He wanted to quit the team when Billy Gillespie got here. He thought he was working, that G was working him too hard. This isn't how NBA players work. This isn't what we do. I'm trying to get to the league, blah, 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 so on and so forth. He gets to the combine, and the reason he got drafted 1 selection outside of the lottery is because of his conditioning. He outlasted all of those combine NBA hopefuls, and he could outwork them for 2 and 3 hours, as opposed to other guys who may have been more talented than him, just didn't have the will and the fight and that conditioning to push through those walls. And so that's what Agee is right now, just on his own. That's just how he's built. I am going to go outlast you. I am going to beat you up and beat you down, and I am going to go get that ball. And you may be neck and neck with me for the first 20 minutes, but at minute 21, when you take a break, I don't. And that's where he is, and that's That's why A&M was good this season, is because of his leadership in pushing them through and busting those barriers. I have all the respect in the world for him.
Is he an NBA prospect?
I don't know. It's hard.
Because in the NBA, all the talent level kind of equalizes heart, hustle, and the talent level's so high that those things kind of get diminished to an extent.
And that's the thing. You have to be so athletic. And then you have to have
heart and hustle.
The heart and hustle.
Let's be fair. Actually, what you said is true for the average, but some of the players on the top end don't have to have heart and hustle because they're so talented in the NBA.
That is true. That to an extent. They
James
still
Harden doesn't have heart and hustle.
I mean, in comparison to some of the other players, you're right, but he still has that drive. He still has, I'm going to go work out and make this my living. I'm still going to put the hours in to hone my skills and to be the best.
I'm just not going to play defense.
I'm just not going to play defense. But no one's ever made him, right?
Yes,
I mean, if someone would,
he's been accommodated his whole career.
But you also see he hasn't won a championship either. That's the difference.
4 on 5 is hard to win a championship.
Absolutely. But
at the very least, Agee will have one of those 12-year overseas careers at minimum if he wants to.
If he wants to, absolutely. He could go over there and be a monster.
Yeah, okay, thank you. That's what I was thinking. That's like the minimum. I mean,
and make a good living at it too. It's not like they're getting paid pennies. 30 years ago, those guys would go overseas just to play ball because they wanted to continue their career and make a little money. It's not like they never made money. They were still making money overseas, but now because the world is so influential with basketball, not just America anymore, because everybody is so caught up in the game of basketball. It's big business, and these players get played. They get paid.
The players get played. That sucks. Horrible.
Well, some of them do. Sometimes you go to a tier 3 and you don't get paid for 3 months, and then you got to flip.
And then you don't get paid at all.
Then you got to flip to another team. And your agent's got to find. I mean, there's.
What is tier 3? I've never heard of that. Honestly,
they have different tiers over there. Some leagues have 1, 2, and 3, A, B, C. There's. I'm not proficient on it all. I just know. I know guys who have played at all the levels, and I haven't played at those levels, so I just.
But you played at 7 different colleges.
That is true, and they were all different levels too.
So you've worked the ladder.
Absolutely.
So. Antonis Kavaliauskas, right? Mm-hmm. He played on a team for 30 years, but didn't he own it or something?
I mean, he might as well have. Here's a crazy story about AK. He goes to Lithuania. He's from Lithuania. He goes and he plays basketball in Lithuania, and then he goes and plays for their national team, and he's playing in the Olympics. And the coolest picture that he has is him. He got an offensive rebound. He's pump faking under the block, and LeBron James is flying over him trying to block it. And that's a awesome picture. I would have that framed, and that would be it. But Katie and I go to the Olympics when it was in Paris, and we're walking around and we hear this guy that sounds exactly like AK. And we turn around and I'm like, "Did you hear this?" She's like, "Yeah." And we're looking and we see this guy, and he is all of AK's size. So he's 6'10". I mean, he's a big dude. And we kind of walk up, and I don't know how the conversation started. Katie probably just said hi or something. I don't know. She's not afraid of anybody. She goes, and we start talking, and he's from Lithuania. And we mention AK's name. Hey, that was my teammate. He was in our wedding, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You would have thought that we just met the biggest star in the world. He was like, "Oh my gosh.
You know him?"
I watched him play basketball. His face is on all the buses that go through town. And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
If you're on the buses, you've made it. That's
awesome.
One of those signs.
Absolutely. It's awesome. So yeah, that's AK's story, because he's a pretty big deal back home.
Yeah. If your face is on a bus, you are a big deal.
Buses.
I remember sitting in downtown Bryan once. Outside the pizza place, and there was a bus went by. There's Logan on the side of the bus.
Lou, why do you got to do that?
I'm trying to sell you here, man. Would you just go with it? And I was like, I know Logan Lee.
I was, when we had media guides, I was a one of the 5 players on the front of the media guide.
Was there only 5 people on the team at the time?
No, but I was the white guy that was on the team.
Oh, no.
Am I even allowed to say that on air?
No.
Look, man, I know my place. I know where I'm supposed to be.
Oh, no.
See, I'm trying to brighten your day, Lou. Came in here all gloomy, and now you're smiling, you're laughing. It's a good day.
We'll take a timeout.
Okay, there you go. Perfect.
When we come back, we'll talk about Bucky and the transfer portal.
Yeah, man.
Is Antonio own the team, Kavalauskas?
What do you mean?
The stake, the team he played for?
No.
I thought he wasn't just a member. He owned the club too.
He may have some some investment in it. I don't.
It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. That's CC Electric. It's the Louie Bellina Show, Tuesday on The Zone.
Like The Zone on Facebook, and you stay in touch with the community calendar, community spotlight, and game updates.
Let's go!
Like The Zone on Facebook, Zone 1150.
The Louie Bellina Show. I'm going to stick with Tuesday. Louie Bellina Show, Logan Lee inside the Charles Schwab studio. I asked Logan all kinds of questions. So maybe some I shouldn't. But if you have questions for Logan, well, text them. 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. If you have questions for Logan, text me at 979-693-1150. I don't know about bad news, but Marcus Hill transferred out. He doesn't have his year of eligibility back. He will appeal. He will win it. Everybody wins it unless you do something stupid at Alabama effectively, which is be a pro and try and come back. Why is Marcus Hill leaving? Why is everybody leaving?
Well, I think he's leaving I think A&M is giving him his options, because if it's not a guaranteed, they're not going to use a space on him. A&M would like to have him back. He would like to be back. But because that waiver is out there and it's not a grand slam, you can't take that chance, especially when you need the depth, when you need the number of players that Bucky wants to be able to perform at the level that he wants this team to perform at. There's no doubt in my mind they would take him back and let him come back if it were 100% done. No, you don't agree with that? You're looking at me like
he only has like 3 people on the roster right now.
What do you mean he only has 3 people on the roster? Lou. Players that are on the roster. I made notes of this because I knew you were going to be upset that the numbers aren't skyrocketing out of this world. Zach Clements is back, right? 6'11", forward. He's got 1 year of eligibility.
Why are you laughing?
Chris McDermott is back. Jamie Vinson, Jeremiah Green. I like all of these players. Zach is going to be really good this coming season based off of his progression last year. Chris McDermott, an all-out hustle guy that is going to give everything that he has, and I bet he gets some playing time. He would have gotten playing time in conference play except for the fact that they didn't play him however many games in a row. And at that point, it was more of a, well, we need the guys in there that have the routine, that have everything down. If they would have been in year 3 of Bucky ball already, or even year 2 of Chris McDermott being in Bucky ball, and they would have had a team that is accustomed to and adjusted to, they would have been able to work him into the system just because they needed him. They needed his energy. They needed his ability to go get rebounds and defend on the perimeter. And I think they'll be able to use it. I'm not saying that he's going to get 15, 20 minutes a game next season. I'm saying they'll be able to use him maybe 5 to 10 minutes a game, maybe 8 minutes a game. I don't know, depending on who else they get out of the portal and what the roster looks like, but I could see them utilizing him. Jamie Vinson, he has the entire skill set. If someone turns his anger button to 15 instead of being at 0.5 and his aggression comes out, he could play like he did against Alabama every single night.
In Texas.
And Texas, yeah. And Texas every single night. He's got to flip that switch. It's got that aggression has to come on. And you can't let a 6'11 guy that has the skill set that you have seen on this team, you can't let him go. Because to get rid of a 6'11 guy and to try to get another one, you're going to be paying $3.5, $4 million. And when you got one on the roster, then you have Jeremiah Green, guard, big body. I actually think with next year and the year after that, he will look and play. Okay, he will look like a Florida guard did last season. I don't know if he'll be that good just yet, but I can see his development. I would like him to stay 4 years, see what he can do with Darby in the weight room, and grow with Bucky Ball in the system. Then you have your transfers. PJ Haggerty.
Officially official?
I mean, look, you even got. I heard it in your voice right there. You're excited about that one. Nothing else to say about
Most
PJ
exciting
Haggerty.
Aggie basketball signing. I don't remember the last one as exciting.
I mean, yeah. Only because he's proven.
Yeah.
I think A&M has had some exciting guys that have been signed, but you're just like, okay, we got to see what he can do at this level. This Haggerty, you already know what he can do. He's proven it at every level.
And perfect fit. You're not taking a shooting guard and say, hey, we're going to make him a point guard and mess with him and have him suck. No. We're not taking a 4 and we're going to make him play 5. No, this is the guy coming in to do exactly what he does, and he does it at a high level.
Absolutely. And then you have Lucas Walls,
which today became officially official.
Yep. And you have, and he is a system guy, a efficient 3-point shooter. He's not a volume 3-point shooter. He's an efficient 3-point shooter. So if he gets, I don't know, let's say 7 to 10 minutes a game, he's going to knock down 1 to 2 threes. He's going to push the tempo. He's not going to be a complete drop-off when you say, okay, I got to go to my bench. Oh, shoot, who am I going to go to? You've got a guy that knows the system, that understands what his role is in Bucky's system because he's been there before. And so you have another depth guy. Cade Phillips, 6'9", maybe 6'8".
6'9", 210, offensive rebounder, shot blocker.
Look,
everything I said there is exactly what's needed.
I was about to say everything that you just mentioned is what we were hoping for from Federico. A guy that is tall, long, athletic, can rebound and block shots. That is what A&M needed last season to complement Rashawn Agee in the post, and infinitely your team gets better. And so now they have a guy coming from Tennessee who has played in the SEC. Yeah, he's coming off of an injury, and it was a season-ending injury, so you're going to have to figure out where's he at. What is he doing? What level is he starting at? What level can he get to?
Where is he on the recovery trail?
Exactly. But he's proven himself so far, and I believe Luke from TexAgs wrote this. His offensive rebounding percentage, if he would have played, is number 20 something in SEC history, and would be ranked number 1 in Texas A&M history. It's like 13.7 something percent. And that's in very limited time. I think he played 17, 20 minutes a game at Tennessee for 9 games, and he did that. Now, you don't have it against that obviously wasn't at the end of the season. Yeah, it wasn't at the end of the season last year, but hey, it's there, which means it can be brought out, which means you can grow and build and develop. I like where this roster's going.
Yeah, I don't know what there is to not like so far. I mean that honestly too. Like I'm not being a smart aleck. There's nothing to not like.
I think if you look at it,
I'll tell you something else. I look at the transfer portal rankings kind of stuff, and I mean like top 50.
I don't.
Top 10.
Where are we at?
No, it's not the class rankings. The players' availability.
Oh, got you. Okay?
And there's still, and you don't need all the top 10s, but you do need certain players, and it's been a slow moving portal across the board.
Yep.
And Bucky still needs to add players. Well, the portal closes at midnight tonight, I believe it is.
Isn't that just entry though?
Yeah, yes. So you'll know the players available.
Yeah, you'll know everybody.
And there's still so many bodies left that there's a lot of targets left to get, if that makes sense. And
absolutely.
So,
I think the way that Bucky and his staff are approaching this portal season is we need guys who can create their own shot. Last season, we talked about the entire time of, man, if they just had one guy, if they had, and I know people are going to hate me for even mentioning it, but it is the truth. Trayvon Marks from Texas, that guy could get his own shot, especially against A&M with buzzer going down. He is the type of guy that A&M needed last season because A&M had a lot of guys with a particular skill set, and that skill set was either finishing at the rim, making threes, Rashawn Agee just being physical, but they didn't have a guy that just say, hey, clear out. We're going 4 low. I got this. Don't worry. They didn't have that guy. So you get Haggerty, and then they're going after guys that can really attack off the dribble and get to the basket. That is the goal. Who can who can create their own shot, who can get past their defender to get to the bucket. Either you're making a layup, you're finishing above the rim, or you're getting fouled. Because that opens everything up. So then you don't have to have a three-point shooter that is 40% plus from the three-point line. You can have a 33, 35, 37% three-point shooter that has an extra half second because you have guys that can attack the rim. It opens those driving lanes for kickouts for guys to knock down shots not being contested. And
so is this a Bucky ball adjustment from SEC data?
I think that's what they saw last season is man, we've got to have guys that can create, that can help each other instead of I'm just going to catch and shoot, or I'm going to catch and dribble because I can't shoot. And then
the dribble part's a killer.
Without question. They have to be able to create their own shots, but they also have to work within the system. That's why I really like Haggerty in that he fits exactly. And not only does he fit exactly, he's one of the top players in the portal to do it. It's not like hey, we're down to the wire. This guy fits the system, but no one wanted him. Well, shoot. No one wanted him for a reason. What is that reason? And then you find out halfway through the season, that's the reason. Something
I saw, and again, I feel like we live in a world where high school recruiting, and I don't care what sport it is so devalued because the portal is so exciting. We get to talk about $1 million contracts and immediate gratification. The transfer portal is 100 times more exciting than high school recruiting.
Without question.
But Chase Richardson is the number 4 player in the class, and he's a point guard. And I don't know how we can say that a high school kid is a perfect fit for a Bucky system because I don't know how many run that. But he's supposed to be a player that fits the Bucky system. Anyway, and A&M's made his Final 5.
Yeah, man. If you can... I think this is a consensus around a lot of coaching staffs is that if you can grab a top 25 high school kid, go get them. Because those guys are legit players. And I'm stretching it to 25. A lot of coaches have said if you can grab a top 20. 15 or 20 is a guarantee. But if you can grab a top 25, or if you're in the mix for a top 50, you think about it, you just don't offer a lot of money. But you try to get them there because the transfer portal has now opened everything up. You go play at a mid-major for a year and then expect to go get a lot of cash after proving yourself. And that's what it is. Unfortunately, that is what it is. And it's, I've talked to some parents of some pretty talented high school kids, and that is kind of the thought process for them as well. Hey, we're not worried about these big D1 schools because, one, if we go mid-major for a little bit of money,
crush it.
They have time to develop. They're not thrown in the fire and getting beat up against these transfer portal. Imagine a wing, a 6'7" kid out of high school having to face up against Haggerty. That's not going to work out well in the high school unless he's like Cooper Flagg.
And he's going to get his value destroyed.
Absolutely.
You're costing yourself money.
Absolutely. And so that's why recruiting has changed so drastically, not just on the coach's side, but on the player and the family side as well.
And everything you said depends on the player on a high school level getting good guidance,
without
advice,
without
a good
question.
agent.
Without
100%. Logan, you going to come back next Tuesday?
Yeah, sure.
Sucker. I mean, hey, that's great to hear, man. I'll talk to you then.
Okay, see you, Lou.
This is the Louie Bellina Show. We'll wrap things up when we return. It is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric Tuesday. Yeah, check on the zone.
Your home for the Houston Astros is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Going to wrap up our first hour. Only got like 90 seconds left, but inside the lifestyles portion of the Louie Bellina Show, I like to do sometimes this day in history, April 21st. And this is kind of a big one. 190 years ago, that's 1836. 190 years ago in 1836, an army led by Sam Houston, and I don't mean the Bearcats, but the dude, Sam Houston, defeated an army at San Jacinto, assuring Texas independence. So this is a very important day, April 21st, 190 years ago, years 1836, the Battle of San Jac, assuring Texas independence. That's a pretty big deal this day in history. There's more. I think at the end of each hour, we might have to look at them because it's a very odd day, April 21st, this day in history. But for Texas history, one of the most key days in history. Coming up next, Joe Sheehan newsletter on the D4 Land Services hotline. Olin Buchanan at 1 o'clock, Community Spotlight at 1:50. This is the Louie Bellina Show. Yeah, it is. I was still thinking it's Tuesday, but sometimes I'm calendar impaired.
This is your home for Aggie football, basketball, and baseball. It's the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Listen on the Zone app or online at radioaggieland.com or tell Alexa, play Zone 1150.
Play Zone 1150.
Listen live on your phone, smart speaker, computer, or the Zone app. Powered by Loyalty Plumbing, where craftsmanship and loyalty is their business. Visit loyaltyplumbingllc.net. Take the Zone and your favorite teams and shows with you wherever you go.